So, this is my review of my Hotpoint Aquarius TVF760 tumble dryer. It has a 6 kilo load capacity, which is standard, 100 litre drum with a drying capacity rate of about 17.5 per kilo, which is like balls to most people. Anyway, it also has a C energy rating, which is standard for most vented dryers. So this is average, and is still relatively loud for most dryers. But they're fairly well built. These modern Hotpoints are now this range of Hotpoints has been redesigned after the last series with a new bearing bracket on the back to make it last longer. Unfortunately, because it's still a Hotpoint, it's still fairly unreliable-ish, and it does seem to be noisy at times where it doesn't need to be. Actually, this one isn't though. It doesn't make odd scrapes and noises. It's also, they redesigned the door handle on this. What was original was like this on the last series, and this was a separate part. What happened, this then became, because all the tension was on this little bit here, quite often it used to break. And in fact, my old Hotpoint it broke off. What they did this time though was put the gap in, a rubber bit on the back, and then as for the washers, they decided to put a separate handle underneath this bit here. So it's a bit different. You can, as usual, just pull it open, but it's got a proper catch. A proper catch here, which is using a rotary rotary rocker switch inside to turn it on and off. Load. The full filter is probably the most simple full filter ever made. It's very, very simple. You take it out, you scrape. This is even with a little bit of fluff, you can still just about get it. See. The only downside to this filter, which I didn't have with the old one, is that it is just a little bit too flimsy. It does start to slightly rip at the top somewhere, but I can't remember where. But it only just slightly ripped, tiniest bit ever. It is just a little bit flimsy for the filter, but even so, it's a simple filter. And then to put it back in, you know you can't put it in that way. You can try and put it in that way, but it won't actually go in. So you turn it back round, and it will just slide in. No force necessary at all. And inside we've got 2 drum pedals. One there, you can't actually see, hang on, the light. One there, and one opposite. Let's get it back here. Right. Loading up is probably about the simplest thing in the world. Obviously, open the door, and throw your washers inside. Now that's probably about 3 kilogram. So 3.5 kilogram load. That'll definitely take about 50 minutes to dry. But I don't need to worry about how long it's going to dry, because it has sensor drying programs. And if we just raise you up a little bit more, I'll show you. You operate the whole thing by switching on here. Turn it on. And you will see that the dial has little symbols on it, which are then represented here. So you can turn it to 1. Let's start program 1. Ready to wear. Little t-shirt with a little star on it. Basically ready to wear, we'll tumble dry it to couple dry setting, then run for an extra 20 minutes. This is actually great for both towels and more better for multi-layer fabrics such as like jeans, where the pockets will usually come out a bit slightly damp still. Say, which is program 2. Program 2 is the one I use all the time, or mainly most of the time. Cupboard dry. Basically, this gets it to a dry setting, and for most fabrics, they will come out completely dry. They're not over dried; they're dried to the right level. 3. Anger dry. Anger dry leaves a little bit of moisture left in. The idea is that you tumble dry all your garments and then stick them on a hanger to finish them off. Iron dry. Now this is actually a bit of a con really, because it's not actually iron dry at all. Iron dry really is more like program 3, hanger dry. Really, what program 4 is damp dry. Really, this should actually just be called damp dry. It dries it to about 25% residual moisture, but it's still too wet to wear. 5. Synthetics cupboard dry. Now, I don't know, the idea is you put your load of synthetics in and it dries it to the same standards as program 2 on cottons. This never happened on this. It seemed to sense it wrong all the time. More often than they came out wet. Still. Bed and bath. This is basically program 1 all over again. But I think slightly even longer drying period. So usually if you put a tiny load in, it still takes about 50 minutes to dry. If you only put like a few towels in, it takes about 50 minutes or so. But if you put a full load of towels in, it should take around an hour 40. But this dries it on full heat, full blast. Delicates. Now this is the only one with the low heat setting preset. The low heat setting on these Hotpoints, these up-to-date Hotpoints is even lower than what was on the last one, so we can actually dry pretty much anything, even the most delicate of fibres. It does say 2 hours, and it does take about 2 hours for up to 2 kilo of delicates. Right, wool. Platinum wool mark. This is a silver wool marked program, not platinum, silver care. This dries on high heat, but you can dry up to 3 jumpers. Oh crap! Believe it or not, the sensor works on this as well. I've used it once only, I think, but it sensed that and it dropped it from an hour to 40 minutes. So the sensor works on it as well. 9. Airing. This doesn't actually use any heat whatsoever, and it's just basically 20 minutes of cold air. Easy iron. Now, this is actually really, really good. You can use it in 2 ways. Either to finish off those jeans that was left, jeans inside a dryer, that was used, that where the pockets weren't fully dry, or you can use it just to finish off towels off the line, or the actual main purpose of it is to relax creases before ironing. And believe it or not, because it's heat, most of the time the creases will actually just fall out anyway. So it's great to then take out. It uses 8 minutes of heat and 2 minutes of cool tumbling. Cool tumble. Now this is actually just designed really if you stop the program at any time, to then change it to this straight away and put it on a cool tumble. Then you got your time sectors.
120 minutes, 90 minutes, 60 minutes, 30 minutes, and 20 minutes. Notice the lines, you got 4 lines 120, 4 lines on 90, 3 lines 60, 2 lines 30, 1 line 20. You know, markers on top. Finally, the options. You have a high heat button, which is only available on these time sectors. Delay start, up to 24 hours. Pre-care, which tumbles the clothes intermittently during the delay start, and then post-care, which tumbles the clothes intermittently at the end. Finally, the child's lock, which locks out the entire board. Finally, we'll turn this on. I really enjoyed it. Overall, this machine was cheap, but it's actually really good value for money. The sensors work, unlike a Beaker. I've had too many horror stories where the actual sensors don't really work after about a year of use. But these sensors work relatively well, but understandably more expensive manufacturers do have better sensors on them. But for money, I'd still get another Hotpoint. Good value for money. I mean, the console I think is pretty noisy compared to most, but quick as hell. But the pros are, extremely quick and very cheap from, very good value for money. So, hope you guys enjoyed it.